Hey, my name's Cedar George Parker. I'm from the Tsleil-Waututh Nation and Tulalip Tribes. We're here today with the Wilderness Committee, and welcome to the next episode of Whatever's Wild. Today we'll be talking about the Wilderness Committee's ability to produce fine maps and mapping. What these maps do is that really gives our campaigns their major boost, giving our supporters like you visuals of seeing where, for example, they're spraying glyphosate, where they're doing logging in critical territory, and especially, where we have caribou roaming around. And so our mappings are so important to show where in beautiful British Columbia, resource extraction is affecting, species at risk or any of our campaigns. And so today we're here, and I'm joined with our research and mapping coordinator, Jeff Sinichenko. Welcome, Jeff. Woo!
Thanks, Peter.
So today we'll take a look, have an inside look at his work, all the maps that goes into the Wilderness Committee's campaigns. So grab a comfy chair, grab a coffee, let's get into it. So the first question, let's start with the basic question. What kind of maps do you make?
Well, I make all kinds of maps. I make some from high-level maps of across the country, of boreal caribou, to zooming down to the valley, and the logging that's going on in the valley, an old-growth forest stand or something like that. And then we also have we have offices in BC, Manitoba, and Ontario. So I'm also doing the maps for all the provinces there and across the country. And then the kind of maps I make is I make old school, kind of what I call old school PDF maps that you can print out and stuff. But increasingly, we're doing more and more web mapping. So we do a lot of web maps kind of products too. And I use a software, like a computer software called GIS. It stands for Geographical Information System. And with that, I can also do geographical analysis. So I can do things like calculate how many hectares, of a pipeline is affecting endangered species habitat, say, for an example. So it's really powerful and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and so you say that about your mapping. I remember when you were doing some of the mapping for the glyphosate. One thing I was really attracted to, and even other First Nations people that we present in that map too, is that we're looking at where salmon streams are, right? And so I remember seeing we presented your map up at an event, and people just come and they'll put a sticker wherever they have memories, right? And it really impacted people because they saw where the places they love are getting impacted, right? Where the environment is getting impacted in negative ways. And it even shocked me too, seeing where glyphosate, a pesticide herbicide, is being sprayed in BC, in places that I love, right? And so I guess that goes on to the next question is, why is it important to present information visually in a map with an environmental campaign?
Well, we're humans, we're visual creatures. And so it's really, I find it really powerful in explaining really complex issues sometimes of industrial impacts on wildlife habitat or the forests. You can see it in the real world, on the ground. So when people see this, it grounds you, because sometimes words are abstract. When you're trying to explain something, it's hard to really understand where this is happening on the ground, and so it kind of grounds you. To know where this is all happening. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, because I remember back in the day when we were working on Trans Mountain Pipeline, you're one of the people that actually came and helped our nation. And so when I first started working with you, I was like, oh, wow, thank you for this, because you showed the pipeline route across BC and how much of it went over the Fraser River watershed. And for me, that was just so much more impactful to see that this pipe, the Fraser River watershed is huge, right? And being able to see that on a map was really impactful, made me want to get up and do something, right? And so that goes to our next question is are the maps you make just for the public?
Most of my maps are for public, right?
Awesome.
Mostly in our publications and online on our website. But we still also do internal maps just for campaigners ask me, some research kind of maps just to kind of know where things are happening. I do quick and easy ones like that sometimes. And then we do a lot of, for First Nation allies, we do a lot of maps for them. Sometimes they come to us, they don't have capabilities for mapping, and we help out allies. And also other smaller environmental groups that we work with, more grassroots kind of groups that don't have mapping capabilities, we help them out too sometimes.
Yeah, one of the campaigns you're helping nationally too, right? For the glyphosate. So
that's right.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. In our email chains. And so that's really cool that we, that we support our allies, that we coordinate with other allies to see where places are getting affected. And so I definitely seen this work because it almost gets to a point where it gets personal when people see these maps. Like for example, me got super personal, right? I love these places. This is where
Yeah.
my ancestors ate. This is where my people have been for generations. To see how it's getting affected, it's like makes us want to do something, right? And so, yeah, how has the mapping technology changed and improved over time?
Well, as you can see from my gray hair, I'm a little bit older.
Yeah.
So when I started over 20 years ago, computer mapping and GIS was just getting started. And actually the people before me, my predecessors, were doing hand drawing maps. So it was pretty awesome, except that it was really clunky. The mapping software back then was all DOS-based command line. Hardly used the mouse. It was really like hard to get
What's the
a map
command
out.
line?
Command line, you have to type out like what you
Oh.
wanted the computer program to do.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it was really
Like
clunky.
coding, it sounds
Yeah,
like.
kind of almost like that. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
it was really like hard to use. So it's come a long way. And then like I said before, like we used to do PDFs and like paper maps, which we still kind of do about that, but more and more as web maps. And there's a cool product that we're starting to use a lot now called Story Maps, where you integrate web maps, interactive web maps with images and video and text, and you kind of can tell a story. So that's kind of what they call it, story maps. You can narrate kind of and walk people through, especially if a complex issue is going on. You can really show them different maps, different images, different videos, all in a little package. And so it's pretty cool.
Sweet. And so like I remember when I started working, you're showing me what you can highlight in maps. Do you want to maybe just like we'll go off a little bit course, and do you want to maybe explain some of that? Because like I remember you're showing me salmon habitat, streams, different waters, like elevation. Like is there just some things off the top of your head that you can?
Well, we're lucky. Especially in British Columbia, we have a lot of the data. The PC government provides data layers. So like you have layers of creeks and rivers, and you got all the forest cover, all that stuff. So I can map all that stuff out, and we have salmon streams and stuff like that, and you basically build it into layers.
Huh.
And so you can show a lot of cool things. And what's really cool is like there's all this like technical part of all the data, but then there's an artistic side of mapping where you gotta make it look good, right? And make it connect with people, and like the blue salmon stream makes nice and blue, and like and then the industrial activity is red or something, so it kind of makes it more impactful, and it's kind of a bit of graphic arts in there too. So it's really fascinating stuff.
Yeah, that sounds like it. Yeah, it is really, really important, right? Because like I love showing people the maps you make, right? It just brings people really, really in. It brings people together too. Because I'm from there too. I'm from here too, right? Then it gets people talking, and community comes together, and then they share their concerns, and then from there action happens, right?
Totally. I've been so many meetings where like you're talking and words and abstract, people are kind of getting stuff, but then you pull out a map. And everyone just gathers around it, brings everyone together. Everyone starts pointing at it, and like they've been on the ground there, they know what's going on, and it really, grounds you. It explains like complex issues, like the magnitude and scale of something. It can really, really be impactful.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And so, out of all these maps that you've been doing, what are some of your favorite mapping projects you've done for the Wilderness Committee?
Well, you've actually mentioned it. The Kinder Morgan map I made back in 2017. I started in 2017. It was a really cool project, and I built it over years and years, and I just kept adding more and more cool layers of different habitats and water and streams and salmon, and even where like schools were nearby the Kinder Morgan pipeline and things like that.
I think you did hospitals too.
Yeah, things like that.
Yeah.
And crazy. So it was a really cool project, and I remember a lot of people really using it, and people saying that was really helpful for the campaign and for public awareness. And so that was a cool project that I built. And then and another one was going back to Story Map. My first Story Map actually was I did one on BC timber sales, which is the BC government's own like logging outfit, and how much they're targeting old growth forests. So we added a cool mapping story map on that, and we had these interactive cool zoom in tour maps that kind of zoom into different places and kind of highlight different places that are where this is happening, and there was some cool images and video in there too. So it was cool to build.
Yeah, and I remember taking that because like with the Trans Mountain pipeline, I remember we took that along the route, and we had like town hall meetings, and so everybody would come around that and look and see where the pipelines affecting their watersheds near their schools, near where they live, their homes, right?
That's right.
Where they bring their kids to school, and they said they don't want this pipeline. Or they'll see like where the last spotted owl is and say they don't want them to log these different places, right? And so it comes to, let's talk about the contemporary now. What are some of the projects that you're working on now?
One of the big things I'm working on, I've been doing for years. A lot of my mapping projects are sort of ongoing, like simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the ones I've been doing for years and years, because I keep updating it, is spotted owl, actually. And I have actually a map here today. This is a spotted owl habitat, dark green, and in the yellow is all the stuff that's been logged. So you can see like so much has been logged of the habitat. So this is kind of a cool way to show and how much has been logged and how much the habitat's been totally destroyed. So so I'm tracking where the critical habitat is, but also where ongoing logging is going. There's always more approved logging in spotted owl habitat, so we're always tracking that and trying to go to court.
And it looks this is the Lower Mainland right down here.
That's right. Yeah,
okay.
This is the Fraser Valley, Lower Mainland over here. Vancouver's over here, and Chilliwack's kind of over here. That's Harrison Lake over here.
That's a lot. That's crazy.
Yeah, and so this is that spotted owl habitat's all in the mountains there, in these valleys. Yeah, so
nuts.
and we take these things to court too. Like they can be powerful as evidence in court too.
No, 100%. Yeah, they're very vital tools that I can see. And so like if there's anything that you want to bring up on that bombshell, is there anything you'd like to say to wrap up?
Good thing we finished that with that map.
All right, so here's the big question too that always gets our viewers connected with us. Is like, and I always am interested in what got people into this work. So what got you into this work?
Well, kind of by accident. I used to do ecology work, did a lot of ecosystem mapping work, actually, a bit of that. And then I started really liking the mapping part of that. And that got me excited about that stuff. So then when I joined the Wilderness Committee, I was actually a canvasser first. And then the mapping came up as a job that was open. And I jumped in and I just been loving the work too. I've been doing it for 20 years. And I just love how, I guess we've touched on this already, about how maps connect people and how they can facilitate conversations and meetings. And I love like the technical part of it from my one side of my brain. It's like all the data and on the analysis is kind of cool, but then also the artistic side of it where you have to make it look really nice, and kind of the graphic arts part of it. It was really cool from either side of my brain. So I don't know. I love mapping. I just love maps. I've always loved maps since I was a kid. I just love staring at them. I could stare at them for hours. Even now, after doing it for 20 years.
And being able to make change with it really must feel good.
Totally, yeah. I can see how it really helps, it can help facilitate conversations and help campaigns move forward.
Because you're one of the people I got really excited to work with, like when I came work here, because all the maps you did for Our Nation already, like I already knew of your work.
Totally, like the Kinder Morgan campaign, that was where one of my maps felt powerful, like it was really helping.
And we used it everywhere. We used it everywhere to bring people together.
Yeah. If you want to find out more about our mapping, our website's a great tool. A lot of the campaign pages have our maps on there, and lots of web maps that are interactive, some PDF maps you can download even and print if you want. And our publications too have our maps.
Okay.
So go check it out.
Sweet, thank you. My name's Cedar George Parker with the Wilderness Committee. Follow us on our social medias. And if you want to reach out to Jeff or any of our maps, just go right onto the website. Thank you for joining in. And on that bombshell, we'll end it right there. Thank you.
Thanks.